Here is the Speech and Language Digital Screener for Preschool by Play, Learn, Talk. I am so excited to share this resource with you. I've been using it for about a month now with my students, and it has been a tool to screen speech and language skills as well as a activity in speech therapy. So my students have asked to play it over and over again, and the beauty of it is they feel like it's a game. So we get to assess their speech and language skills, and they get to feel like they're playing a game, and it makes it go by super quick and it feels super fun. So let's get started and take a look at what's inside. So this digital resource is going to come with these companion worksheets that you're going to want to download and print prior to screening, okay? So let's take a look and see what they are. This is page 1, and then we have page 2 and page 3. Now I'll go back to page 1 to go a little bit more in depth. Now I have put these in order of the order of characters that you meet on this journey. This game is a magical quest, so your student is going to be helping a knight get to a princess, to free the princess. Now he meets a wizard in the beginning, and you'll see that later. And the wizard's going to tell him, hey, I have 9 magical stars you have to help me find in order to free the princess. So as your student goes along, they're going to encounter different characters like a talking deer and a frog and some fairies and a witch and some mermaids and on and on and on. And each character is going to say, hey, you need to help me with this activity or this task, and then I'll give you a star. So your student's not going to even know that they're working on these skills, which is it's so much fun. So the first category, we have a talking deer, and he's going to help you figure out, can your student follow auditory directions, 1 or 2 step? It's up to you. And then the second category, your student will meet a frog, and we're going to be assessing whether your student can count from 1 to 10 and whether they can discriminate between big versus small. Then you're going to meet a fairy, and the fairy is going to want you to help her sort mushrooms based on their emotions. So your student's going to be looking at facial expressions to help them figure out whether the mushroom is happy, sad, surprised, or mad. Then we have letter recognition in the capital form and number recognition from 1 to 10. Then we have following directions with basic concepts, so things like quantities as well as positional vocabulary. And then we have consonant clusters, vowels, consonant-vowel combinations, and then CV-CV and CV-CV-CV combinations. So here is page 2. This is going to give you a phonemic inventory as well as an awareness of your students' phonological processes, should they have them, and what kind of syllable structures they're using, and then a note section at the bottom to just mark their intelligibility. So here's section number 3. We're going to be looking at color recognition skills, shape recognition, and then the ability to identify or label common vocabulary, either in the clothing category, anatomy, animals, or everyday items. We also have a section for verbs, and we're going to have verbs that are common opposites like up and down, and then we have day and night is not a verb, but it's opposites, right? So we have an opposite section, and then common actions, and then an area to score whether your student is responding in the past, present, or future when they're describing these pictures. Then we have an area that is for 3-step sequencing, and you can also look at reasoning skills and get a language sample as your student is retelling or explaining how something goes in order. And the very last section is going to be looking at your student's ability to identify plurals. So here we are. Watch the tutorial or start the screener. So let's start the screener. Now you can use this on your computer, your iPad, your tablet, your phone, or even a smartboard. And the way you navigate is by using this heart. Okay, so let's rescue the princess. Let's get started. So your student is going to drag the knight along this path to meet each of the characters. So when you click on it, you get a walking noise. And my students personally love that. So the wizard says, hey, I need you to find my 9 magical stars, right? So down at the bottom, here are the 9 stars. They're all empty. And as you go along this path, you're going to collect them. Now this is also a quick jump for you so that you can easily navigate to each area. So the first area we have is right here, and we're going to meet the deer. And so your student will go along and meet the deer, and the deer is going to ask you to follow those directions that I told you about earlier. So say your name, say your age, clap your hands, shake your hands, stand up, sit down. So we go through a total of, I believe, 16 directions. And at the very end, he says, here's your star. Your student clicks on the star and gets this wonderful auditory feedback for getting the star. So you'll notice at the bottom we've collected that green star, and the next character we meet is the frog. Okay, so I'm going to show you who we're going to meet along the way, and then we'll go back through. So we have the frog right here, and then we have a fairy, and then we have another fairy, and then we will meet a witch, and then we'll meet some mermaids, and then we will meet a Pegasus, and then we'll meet a unicorn, and then we will meet a dragon. So you can get the idea of how fun this is going to be just through that quick little jump around. So let's go back to the frog. The frog area is going to be where you are assessing if your student can count from 1 to 10. So we're going to feed the frog these ladybugs, and you would just simply have them count them. So 4, 5, 6, all the way through, okay? This next area, can you feed them the small butterflies? So you'd only want to put in the small butterflies. And if you wanted to grade it, you could hit submit, or you can just move on with the heart. All the big butterflies, if you put in the wrong ones and hit submit, that one's going to pop back out, and then you would just have to find the big one. So we'll submit it, got it correct. And the frog says, here's your star. So once again, you notice we're filling up our stars here. This is great for your students who need kind of a visual of what to expect. You can let them know each time, hey, we need to get, let's see, 7 more stars, and they'll be right on board with you. So let's move along the path. We meet this fairy. She's going to want us to collect mushrooms, and this is the area where we're looking at facial expressions to see if we can match the facial expression to the labeled emotion, okay? So we're going to put them in the house, and we also get that auditory feedback. He's crying, and let's put in the happy mushroom. Yay, he's happy. Your kids will imitate these sounds. Scared mushroom, and the last one's the grumpy one. He's mad. Here's your star. Let's keep going. I know this is kind of long, but I hope you're enjoying it. So he's going to move along the path. Again, if you click it, you'll hear him walking. And let's see, let me close that up. I will give you a star if you help me collect stones. So this is the section that you're going to be evaluating whether your student knows letter recognition. So you just move the stone over, and when your student uncovers it, have them label it. It's all the capital version of the alphabet. And we'll go through to this next area. Let's see, this next one is going to have numbers. So it's the same task, very simple each time. But your students will like it because it's kind of a surprise, right? And this is why they don't know that they're being tested, because it just feels really fun. They're uncovering things that they don't know is there. So here's your star. And here's the next section. My students always get excited at this one scene. I don't know what it is about turning nighttime, but they all say, oh my gosh, it's nighttime. They get super excited. So maybe your students will be the same way. And then we meet this witch, right? So the witch says, I'll give you a star if you help me make some magical potions. Now here we're going to be working on basic concepts. So put all the worms in the cauldron. So we'll put all of them in. Oops. Uh-oh, let's see. There we go. So put some of the rats in. I'm just going to put 4 in. Let's see. And some of them will go in, some will stick on top. Okay, put one of the snakes in. So you get the idea. And then the next section after this is going to still be with the witch, but we're going to be working on those clusters, okay? So you're going to uncover the word and put the bubble in the cauldron. So we have brain, and then train. You can go in any order you want. Spoon, stir. Now you can also use this as recalling 3 of them if you want, or recalling 6 if you want to work on some memory stuff for some reason. So another page with the same kind of thing. You'll notice we're earning these potions at the bottom. And we get to the end of it. Here's your star, as well as 2 magic potions for your journey. We got flying in the clouds and breathing water. I wonder where we're going next. So here we are going to meet the mermaids, okay? And we have our potion that allows us to breathe underwater. And here are horses walking into the water over to the mermaids. And the mermaids, what do you think they want? They want us to sing with them, okay? I don't think that should be a surprise for anyone. So now, if you're not musically inclined, you do not have to sing, but I sing with my students and they sing along with me. So you just sing on the vowel, and it has the nice visual for the mouth as well. So we go through 6 vowels. And then this mermaid comes along and says, you sound great, try singing some words with me too. So these are going to be some common sight words. I threw in the because I just wanted to be able to assess that TH sound, even though it's not a preschool sound. So this is really kind of a comprehensive thing for you to have that sound included. And then we have 2-syllable baby and bunny, banana and bicycle for a 3-syllable. And then this mermaid comes and she says, one more thing before you go. And aside from singing, we know mermaids like to know what human things are called, so this task is going to have them label the words hidden underneath. Now, all of these words are going to go back to your printable, page 2, that's going to give you the phonemic inventory. So it kind of assesses all of the sounds that you could wish for on this page and then on the next page. So we get to the end of the mermaids and they say, you're amazing, here's your star, and we can click on the star and move on to the next page. And we get to the Pegasus. Now the Pegasus, see, we have the potion here to fly, and we have kind of a flying sound. And he says, or she says, that she will give us a star if we play in the clouds. Pretty easy, right? So we're gonna fly the Pegasus to the different colors. So fly me to the green cloud, like this. Fly me to the blue cloud. You want to make sure that that box highlights to get them to stay, because if you put it anywhere else, it's going to pop back. And once again, if you want to be grading this, you hit the submit button. So if I put them in the pink cloud, it's not going to do it at all, but if I go to the yellow cloud, we get the feedback again, okay? So the next section is going to be on shape recognition as well as some sorting skills, okay? So we're going to sort the diamond into the diamond cloud, the triangle into the triangle cloud, and you want them to put all of them in. And you can move on to the next section. And here's our star. We earned that star. And you'll notice we've filled up almost all of them. Now we're meeting the unicorn. So we're going to walk along the mountain area now. It is also nighttime again, so we've been on a journey for a while. I will give you a star if you help me with my crystals. This is going to be the area that we look at vocabulary. So this section is going to be all clothing items, and you're just simply having them move them to the box and labeling what they find underneath. And it's up to you how much you want them to talk about each item. This area is going to be for those facial features, and also a hand is thrown in there too. So in this section, I have them label it, but I also have them touch each of these parts. So touch your eyes, touch your nose, touch your ears. You can even have them touch all 3 for a 3-step direction. It's up to you, really open. This one is going to be for animals. So you can target not just the naming of the animals, but the noise that they make. And then this is going to be common items that your students should know. And then you can target the object function of these. So here is the last area. We're going to go and wake up this dragon. And the dragon says, I'll give you a star if you help me with my jewels. So it's the same kind of task. You're going to be moving these jewels over to this box. And this is the section that is working on opposites. So you can have your student uncover both pictures and then talk about or compare and contrast the 2 pictures. So up and down. The next one we have is day and night. And then we have inside and outside. So we have a few more pages on opposites before we move on to this area where the dragon's lower. This is going to be where we have our verbs, our action words. So we have walking and running. Now you can ask your student, what is he doing? Or, what was he doing? Or what's he going to do after he walks? Oh, he's going to go run. So it's up to you how you want to use it. You can also target some pronouns and possessives. So whose dog is this? It's his dog. He's a boy. What do we say for a boy or a girl? So it just depends on what area you want to target with these things aside from verbs. So then we get to this area, which is for sequencing. So you're going to have your student put them in the order that they go. Now, this isn't correct. So it's going to give us that feedback that these 2 are wrong, but this is correct. So I'm going to put them in the correct order, use my reasoning skills, verbally explain it, and you can get a nice little language sample. So put the pictures in order and tell me a story, because we know dragons like stories. So those are the 3 sequencing scenes, and we get our star. And just when you think we're done, we actually have to go and meet the wizard, because we have collected these stars for him after all. So he says, "You've collected all my magical stars. Thank you. I have one last task for you." One more thing, right? Okay, so listen carefully and point to the picture of the word I say. This area is simply going to be to assess your students' knowledge of plural S ending. So hats, which one is hats? Let's go for this one. We're correct. Let's move on. So it goes through those items. And it says, "Great job, you did it. Now we can free the princess." If you click right here, we will free the princess. Okay, so we move on, and we get to move our horse over to the princess. Click the heart, and she says, "You've rescued me, thank you." And we click right here, and everyone is super happy. Okay, so I hope you enjoy this and get so much use out of it. I know you're going to have fun with it. And I just, more than anything, I hope it makes your life super easy for screening your speech and language skills of your preschoolers. Leave a comment below if you've used this resource or if you're looking to use it. I would love to hear what you think about it and how it is being used in your speech sessions.